Welcome back. In our previous video, what we have done is we have installed a drive, formatted that particular drive, created a file system, and named the drive as E drive. In Windows, there is something called as mount point. Mount point. This mount point is used in case if you don't want to use the drive letter as E, F. Basically, you don't want to use any alphabets for your drive letter and you wanted to go with Unix style of creating the file system. Mount point is basically to use Unix or Linux method of file system. For example, in Linux, you use /etc /dev /mnt. In case if you wanted to follow the same kind of format in Windows has given an option to use the mount point. Let us see how we can use the mount point in Windows. I have added a new drive which is of 128 GB. Let us create a mount point out of this 128 GB. For that, we need to go to the disk management, right click on the start and select disk management. Expand. I'll say OK, because this is the new drive which the Windows has detected. And as I said, I have added a new drive which is of 128 GB. Now I wanted to create this drive as a mount point. In order to create a mount point for the newly installed drive which is of 128 GB, what I have to do is I have to go to the E drive. Let me open the E drive. This drive, this is the same drive, E drive, and I will create a folder by name share. I will create a folder by name share, and inside the share I will also create another folder to mount the 128 GB drive, which is called mount 128 GB drive. So you have created share and mount 128 GB drive. These are two simple folders which are empty folders which doesn't contain any user data. So these are two very simple folders. It doesn't even contain any data. It is empty folders. Now you have to come to the drive and select the drive and click new simple volume. Click on next. I am using the entire space for this mount point. Click next. There are two options which are shown here. Either you can go with selecting the drive letter or you can use the mount point, which we are doing now. Because I know where exactly I have created the folder, I will browse for the folder and select the drive where I have created the folder, share and mount. This is a folder which will be used to mount this particular 128 GB drive. I will select OK. If you notice, there is also one option. In case if you have not created the folder beforehand, you can even create the folder using new folder. So after selecting the folder, I will click OK. Click on OK. Click next. Choose the default options to create a file system. You can name the volume label. I will simply name this as mount 128 GB. This is a volume label, nothing to do with the mount point, and I will choose perform a quick format. You can read the summary. Finish. If you notice, there is no drive letter assigned. This volume label is called as mount 128 GB. If you wanted to change the mount 128 GB volume properties, and you can come and assign any name for this volume. You can come back and assign any name for this volume at any given point of time. It doesn't have any issues. After creating the mount point, go to the particular folder where you have mounted, go to the share, and if you see this icon has turned into drive icon, open. Basically, this is an empty folder. You don't see any files or folders here. What I will do is I'll simply copy some data and paste here in the mount folder. We know that this is a folder which is used to mount 128 GB drive. You can see the size of this mount point which is given here. Once you mounted and you have copied all the folders or files here, even if you delete this folder, because this is a folder, it doesn't have any files or folders. This is just using a reference point to mount the 128 GB disk onto this folder. Even if you delete this folder, the data whatever you have copied to the mount 001, it will remain as it is. For that, you can simply go ahead and assign a drive letter F. Let me assign a drive letter F and see if the content or the data and folders are still available. You go to the folder, see all your data is there which is available in the F drive. In case if you don't want to assign a drive letter, you can simply remove the drive letter and again you can mount to a particular folder. Click on browse. I will select share and I will create a folder by name mount 01. I will mount this particular drive again to the mount 01 folder, which is nothing but a mount point. Click on OK. Click on OK. Go to the drive, E drive, where you have created the folder share. Open the folder mount and you will see all your files remain intact. The folder whatever you have created for the mount, that is a reference point. Unless you delete these files inside the mount point, you are not deleting the files or folders. If you delete this reference point, you can simply delete this. Nothing will happen to your files or folders. But if you come inside the folder and if you delete all these files and folders, there will be no data inside that particular 128 GB drive. This is how you can mount the drive to any given folder, and instead of assigning a drive letter, you can simply use Linux style of creating a mount point. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you and take care.